For the second year in a row, we're blessed by an interview from the Arizona Cardinals head coach, Jonathan Gannon. And we're going to talk all things Johnny Venerable, from free agency to Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., the owner, Michael Bidwell. So much to talk and catch up with JG.
So fired up about JG, fired up about free agency. 1 week from today, what's the latest with the Cardinals cap situation? And is there a team sniffing around Milton Williams? Stay away. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Banner day here on Monday, March 3rd, your number one Arizona Cardinal podcast in the world. I'm Johnny Venerable. It's my co-host in Studio K, Mr. Brack. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire. We're back from Indianapolis, our sweet home of the Valley, here in Arizona, in Phoenix. What's up, everybody in the chat? JG, right around the corner. Brack, how we living?
We're living well. Yeah, let's extend some hellos to our friends like Mr. Fat Gangster. How about JoJo, Emily, Rudy, Didi, Gage, AZ Cardinals, Doc XD, AZ Pro 95, Ryan H, Michael Evans, Coley Jack, the squad, Shaff, I see you. Yeah, we had to get back into the Valley of Sun from the cold in Indy, talking to JG, talking to Cam Skattebo. Had to get right back into the sun. I did. That's what I did. I basked in it all Saturday and Sunday, but now I'm grateful to be back in front of all you fine people talking some cards ball.
It's been too long. Everybody drop a like, subscribe to PHNX Sports, and we're buckle up. You should be too for JG. It is as good as you could imagine. We did it last year with JG. He's kind enough to give us some time. What a phenomenal head coach and human being overall. I mean, we're so fired up to be able to connect with Ganon, just to really give that insight that we both feel like you're not going to get anywhere else pertaining to free agency, ownership, the draft, current players. I mean, this is about as transparent and as open as JG gets.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, people get into, often with their head guy of their teams, you get into coach speak and the cliches and stuff like that. And I think Gannon really kind of broke through that, because he understands that Cardinals fans want to know what's going on with this team. They hear all the good things, and you can see it kind of just push through his interview, the ones he's done now last year and then now this year. You can see why this guy is the culture builder that he is. That's why how he's galvanized this team and is going to with the fan base once the wins really start to kind of stack up. I'm pumped for people to be able to see what their head coach has to say about just so many subjects. Like I saw you say this on the Twitter streets. Like, he covers everything. There isn't like any stone that goes unturned in this interview.
And he did that intentionally. He shared a bunch with us, questions, pivots, whatever. Everything was up for grabs. There was no subject off limits. And I think it's going to, if you're not already fired up for this offseason heading into 2025, this is going to get you fired up. Now, speaking of the offseason, before we get to JG, we know people are trickling in. Again, drop a like here. A week from today, right? Could very well be the last day of our Vice, which we have kept up on the better part of 3 weeks now. And free agency tampering begins a week from today. And the Arizona Cardinals are equipped with, let's see it, Damon, Dawg, the fourth most cap space in the NFL. They are behind, the third. They are behind the Patriots and the Raiders. Arizona Cardinals, $74.4 million for JG and Monti Ossenfort to be able to lean into. And this is really the first time, guys, that we've had a chance to talk about free agency with this team and say, big ticket acquisitions, We expect them. We're hoping for them to be in on. You don't want to spend all that money in a single offseason. But outside of New England, which is just, maybe let's just call a spade, grossly lacking talent, maybe where the Cardinals were in prior seasons, the Cardinals, they can't, if they want a player, they can outbid anybody, Bo.
Yeah, they really can. If they want to be in on a free agent. And I like what Ossenfort and Gannon and anybody around the organization will kind of caution you. It's like, they're not just going to go out there and try to build this team through free agency. So if you're thinking of playing Madden and get on there and you're just going to go crazy in free agency, I don't think that's what you're going to get. But if you go quality over quantity, yeah, $74.7 million in effective cap space, that's really going to be able to get you anybody that you'd like to get to the negotiation table with. And the advantage being those two teams above you, they got a lot of work to do on their roster. And I thought you said it nicely, as you do. In all due respect, the Patriots, bad football team, not a lot of talent on that team. And I think, with what's going on here, a new head coach there is going to, get the Patriots, access to some players they didn't have access to last year. Remember, it was Calvin Ridley's like, thanks, but no thanks. You could pay me the most, but I'd rather go to this sinking ship in Nashville. And you've got, who is it? The wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk was like, hey, the Patriots want to pay top dollar in a trade and bring you over for whatever you want. Here's a blank check. And he's like, I think I'll stay in the Bay Area. So yeah, I think the Patriots are going to get a little bit more friendlier to free agency, and they've got the money to do so, and they've got a young, exciting quarterback as well. But you have to look, Damon, if we could see that one more time. There are teams also within striking distance below them. I think the Cardinals should have an edge over a team like the Bears. I really do, just because they've been trending the right way the last 2 years. They absolutely just dismantled the Bears. I think that there's more legitimate excitement surrounding the Cardinals knocking on the door and going to where free agents want to go and be in contention and being a relevant team. Bears have a lot of work to do. Vikings, I think that's a team that's scary just because of all the success they had and the roster they have in place. Mm-hmm. And then Jim Harbaugh's done in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, big media market. They got a good, Justin Herbert had a good first season, and they did a lot with a little. So them being, at $59 million, if they're getting to the table on a single free agent, I think that they become dangerous. And then the Commanders too, with the addition of Debo, they're going to be continuing in accumulate talent mode. That's a team to look out for as well. Steelers, no quarterback. That's where you kind of go down the list and say, okay, if it's a battle where you're trying to get one player, all these teams are going to have the ability to pay that big money ticket right at this offseason.
One of the teams not listed on here in top 10 in cap space, Carolina Panthers. They have $29 million in cap space. Will you be asking yourself, Johnny, why is that relevant? Well, beware of Twitter rumblings and rumors and whispers, right? The player from X team could be connected to new team. You're connecting the dots, and we do that here. Fair enough. Yeah. This was from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, and it was taken, full transparency, by the Twitter algorithms, right? And It was basically saying this is going to happen to this team. So there's a connection being made right now of Milton Williams, impending free agent that could make up to $25 million this offseason, Bo, being tied to the Carolina Panthers. And I saw a lot of this. Panther fans are going nuts. We're getting Milton Williams. It's all being pulled from this one excerpt right here. This is from Jeremy Fowler, basically saying...
it's from Graziano, actually.
Yeah, Dan Graziano and then Jeremy Fowler is who's being tagged on Twitter. Expect the Panthers to be seeking big-time players in free agency. Wow, what a source. I think Carolina could be in on some of the top safeties and might be one of the teams willing to spend big to lure defensive tackle Milton Williams away from the Super Bowl champion Eagles. That's the line right there. They might be willing to spend on Milton Williams. Yet everybody has taken that on Twitter and said, Panthers, Milton Williams, it's a done deal. Not only do the Cardinals have more internal ties with JG and Nick Rawls, they have infinitely much more money. They have 3 times as much money. Yeah. So fair or not to Carolina, like the Cardinals, I'm just going to call a spade like we did when we were kids. Cardinals get first dibs on Milton Williams. If the Cardinals want Milton Williams, they get first dibs because they have a bigger checkbook. They have a more desirable place to play, in my opinion, right? They have, I think, much better infrastructure, and they have a better head coach in Jonathan Gannon. So when you see that out there, everybody be really cautious. And I know, in all fairness, like some people saw, we were teasing the show today, and they're like, are they teasing Milton Williams coming to the Cardinals? Guys, free agency is a week away. Like, nobody has that insight, right? Minus maybe Milton Williams and his agent. But that's worth – I was tagged in that a lot, and people are like, oh, it's over. Milton's going to Carolina.
Oh, man.
Find the original source and then come back to me.
Right. It's cute. I think it's adorable. I think it's adorable that with the Carolina Panthers, they win a couple games at the end of the season. Yeah, that's right, AZ Bro 95 sources. Yeah, just trust me, bro. Milton, if he would just completely absorb most of the cap space that they have to play with
all
this
of
year.
it.
And it's like the Carolina Panthers aren't just a Milton Williams away from competing in a dog meat NFC South, albeit it is dog meat. Mm-hmm. But no, they've got a lot of roster building to continue to do. And then also the point that, Fowler makes, they need to pay JC Horn here coming up soon. It doesn't, that actually nothing about that, points to me thinking Milton Williams is going to be wearing a Carolina Panthers uniform next year, unless they have like some sort of like VIP access that I'm overlooking here. Like, did he grow up in Charlotte? And if you just pit the two cities against each other, would you rather live in the Phoenix metropolitan area? Would you rather live in Charlotte, North Carolina?
I don't like to speak at will of a franchise. That being said, and I know Carolina beat the Cardinals last year, and the Cardinals were running on fumes, and they were missing players. Congratulations, Carolina, for salvaging.
That game was a bloodbath.
It was.
Just,
the officials
were going down.
The officials were atrocious that game. The league wanted Carolina to win that game. I'm just putting that out there.
I don't know if
the card. Remember that first half? That was an atrocious first half.
I don't think Goodell has ever flexed like.
Yeah, I think Goodell said that early kickoff in Carolina. Let's give that to Bryce Young. Let's keep some mojo going there for
Goodell.
Carolina and Charlotte.
Do everything within your power to get the Panthers this game.
If this ends up becoming true, and I have to come on this show next week, and there's a chocolate cake sitting right next to me, and I can't put my face in it because the Panthers are getting Milton Williams, I might quit the show. It might be it for me. I might say, hey, PHNX Suns, I don't know a lick about Suns basketball. I'm coming on over.
I disagree with
you. Spot.
I disagree with you. If the Carolina Panthers and David Tepper, the hands down worst owner in the league, if they're able to land Milton Williams and they're going to just put they're going to be a kid with their parents' credit card, spending on one free agent this offseason, then you can have them. That's bad team building.
I mean, that's what they do there. And then, listen, we chatted with Adam Thielen at the Super Bowl. He's a super nice guy. I'd love Adam Thielen as a member of the Arizona Cardinals. But Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, we're going to be talking about all the big names at nauseum, but we've made everybody wait long enough. Coming around the corner, it's our exclusive interview from the Combine, Jonathan Gannon on PHNX Cardinals. Before we jump in the interview, let me remind everybody, even though football season is over, money-making season is here with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. They got 90 million users worldwide, 780 events throughout the course of the year. They got NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and more. They have pioneered live in-game bettings. They had Slam Dunk Saturdays. They've got Tip-Off Tuesdays, Manana, but every day they've got the 100% parlay boost. Double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. All you got to do, Bo and Damon, download the app, use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. They've got an open offer right now that's going through the end of March. New customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet. Just a 5-spot win or lose. All you got to do, deposit just $10, place a 5-spot, $150 in bonus bets. No questions asked. Got to be 21 years and older, located here in the great state of Arizona. So great to be back. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
We're just days away from starting them engines out at Phoenix Raceway. I was out on that side of the town going to a spring training game out in Goodyear, the Estrella Mountains. They look gorgeous, and was right in the shadow of what's going on at Phoenix Raceway. Renovated recently. It's a beautiful venue. Join us for the Stars and NASCARs. They battle it out in the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix Raceway. And it's just not the day that they hit the track on Sunday. It's an event from the 7th to the 9th, and there's nothing like checking it out. The 40 drivers competing it, rubbing, racing amongst the likes of Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, a little butter, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, and 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion Joey Logano. Johnny's got his poster on his wall. It's the best in class fan experience. The whole family, they're not going to forget it. Go get your tickets now. PhoenixRaceway.com. That's PhoenixRaceway.com. Get out there and check out the Shriners Children's 500.
Big car guy here, big golf guy here. How about the PHNX Green Jacket Open Scramble?
Nobody believes you, by the way.
We might be talking a little golf with JG.
Have you ever driven manual transmission?
Yes, I had a Jeep Wrangler in college. Yes.
Wow.
Jeep guy.
Big time. You used to have a cool car. Now, yeah.
I was not one of those people that had an automatic Jeep Wrangler. I knew you'd probably say that, so I'm getting in front of it. I was going all over the place, man.
All right.
I got to put my hand up here as the youngin of the podcast. I've never driven stick. That's just not a thing in my life, really.
What's that movie? Maybe we should do a show where we teach Damon how to drive with a clutch.
We'll do that. Let's save that for this offseason. I'll tell you who's coming up clutch. It's our friends at Green Jacket Open Scramble, 2 p.m. Shotgun start April 12th, Dobson Ranch Golf Course in Mesa. Phenomenal course if you haven't been there yet. This is what it's going to get you. Entry is going to get range balls prior to the entirety of the round. You get 18 holes with a cart, by the way. Games throughout the event. They've got so much stuff, kid-friendly stuff. They've got a raffle, tournament prizes. They've got tee gifts, which are PHNX branded, and then pre-tournament Masters watch party, grab a brewski, hang out. The food's phenomenal. Sign up as an individual, or you can go as big as a foursome today. All you got to do, go to gophnx.com/events to take part in all the fun. Again, April 12th at Dobson Ranch Golf Course in Mesa. From the 2025 NFL Combine, PHNX Cardinals, Johnny Venerable, Bo Brack, the head man himself, Jonathan Gannon. Take two this year. No hold barred.
Take two. No hold barred.
No hold barred. Quickly, before we dive into everything, we're going to talk about everything here. Waste management.
Yeah.
Second go around. How'd it go?
Second go around. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Fans were awesome. Like outrageous. Awesome. I was horrific.
You didn't play well?
I did not play well.
What happened?
Tempo was off. Well, Corbin Burns is in our group, and he's literally hitting these baby draws like 380 yards. And then I come up with a 2-wood after, and I'm trying to swing out of my shoes, and I can't find the middle of the face. So I did not play well. It was a great time, though. Yeah. It was fun. We played pretty well, too. We had Ben On was in our group for the first 9 holes. Mackenzie Hughes was the next 9 holes. I was picking their brain. It's crazy how golf mentality and football mentality are pretty similar. But it was a fun time. But the crowd, the atmosphere, it was electric.
You're swinging a 2-wood?
I'm hitting a little mini burner right now. Hitting a little mini burner right now. I hit these little slap cuts right down the middle, about 280. How many
clubs do you have in your bag?
13. 15. I'd like to get it down to. I'm not even carrying driver right now. I'd like to get it down to 12, truthfully. Golf pros that play with me, they're like, JG, would you line up with 10 on defense? Because that's what you're doing right now.
What do you think if Johnny and I, you think we could hold our own out there?
I do.
Do you think if we played a scramble? Yeah, if Bo and I were doing a scramble, who would be your partner?
Like, what do you mean?
Like
take your money?
Well, just have a good time. Just having a good time on the course. Yeah.
Have a good time. Out of the staff, Drew Petzing. He's my golfing guy. He's good. Oh, short game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He makes everything. He makes like when when you hear people talk about golfers, they're like, oh, he's got really good short game, and then I'm playing, and they're like, through the first 6 holes, they got like 3-4 putts, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy can't make anything, right? Like Drew is like, once he's in green zone, it's going in 80% of the time, and he never 3 putts ever.
Wow,
he's good.
That's frustrating.
He's a good player.
All right,
we got a lot of golfers on staff.
I saw Buddha picked it up last offseason.
He picked it up. He's addicted. He's addicted. He wants to play all the time. I'm sure PT goes and takes his money. He plays with PT a little bit. But we got about 7 or 8 guys on staff that play.
Yeah.
Clayton Toon can hit it. Trey McBride can hit it. Zaven hits it a mile, but he sprays it off the planet.
All over the place.
Chad Ryland can play too.
Okay.
And Blake can play too. Higgy Bear plays a little bit.
Wow.
I don't play with those guys because I don't have the game or the money to play with them. But yeah, we have a good time, man. We have a good time. It's like the golf capital of the world.
It is, yeah.
It's
That's why
unreal.
Buddha probably signed his
It's unreal.
extensions.
Yeah,
Just
no,
play
no,
golf all the
it's
time.
not because of head coach, for sure. I can play golf all year round. I'm going to stay there.
Let's get into last season a little bit. All right, the dust is settled.
Yeah.
We're here at the combine.
Yep.
We have you guys come out of the gates. You double your win total. There's a lot of encouraging things that happened last season. When you're talking, when you're having discussions with your staff, when you're having discussions with your players, Monti Ossenfort, we look at last season. Like, how do you kind of evaluate it? How do you assess it?
Yeah, I mean, the clear-cut example, or the clear-cut thing that comes to my brain is we got to do better. You know, when you do that, everyone's going to say you want to win a Super Bowl, right? True. To win a Super Bowl, you got to get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we didn't do enough to get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And just like, it doesn't really, to me, like, you can take the record out of it, and when you look at the season as a whole, no matter you win 14 games, you win 3 games, you win 10 games, everyone's somewhere in there, right? You look at it, it's like it's not all bad, and obviously it's not all good. And what can we kind of hang our hat on to improve, and then use all the tools at our disposal in the off season, and then through OTAs, and then in the summer, and then training camp, to do those things better. And I say, so that's kind of what we're about. You know, it's like, that's kind of our process. My process, I guess, is like, you learn more from your losses than your wins, but you can learn from both. But it's like, hey, we have to do these things significantly better if we want to give ourselves a chance to do what we're all here to do. So that's kind of the goal moving forward.
Let's talk about the defensive line, because I've heard you say something, and I don't know if I believe you when you say it. I'm just going to be frank with you. You've talked about sacks not necessarily being a winning stat.
Correct.
You
don't believe me.
You had 70 sacks once upon a time
You
for
don't
Philadelphia.
believe me.
I don't know. I don't know what to
believe
believe. Here's what I want to believe: I want to believe that, you know, at the end of the day, 70 sacks, we can figure out a way to do that similar here in Arizona. But if you're telling me, well, no, pressure's actually a little bit more important than that, like how do you relate sacks
when
versus
I
pressures
say
versus
okay,
rates?
so that statement, which I do believe, okay, because you can sack the quarterback a bunch and lose, okay. I believe there's kind of 2 winning stats. It's the ball and explosive plays. Okay, now a core philosophy that we have with the Arizona Cardinals that you guys probably haven't heard me talk about on defense and offense relates to the passer.
Yeah.
Okay, like, you better be able to protect them, and you better be able on defense to get them down, affect them, right? Sacks go into that. So I'm not, you know, I don't think like, I put importance on sacks. It's just not a winning stat for me. But one of our core principles, philosophically on defense is to affect the quarterback. Now, you can do that by sacking them. You can do that by knocking him off the spot, by batting a ball down, by rushing, you know, in a certain way that affects him. So sacks isn't the end-all, be-all to affecting the quarterback, but it is a real stat.
Right.
And, you know, third down, it's like everyone, you know, they see sacks on third down. I'll let you in a little something, Johnny. Everyone see, you know, third down sacks.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's cool because they're punting, right? But you're going to get, if you won that down sack or not, you're getting off the field anyhow. First and second down sacks are where you really make hay, to me. Mixed down sacks, you know. So a lot of different ways to do it. No, very important to pressure and put pressure and affect the quarterback.
How do you think that you get your defensive line consistently doing that short-term and long-term in 2025?
I mean, I think it starts with the coaches first. I think it starts with Nick on down. You know what I mean? It's, you know, how we set things up, how we want to coach things, end of the position coaches. That's just on a micro level. Macro level is what the back end's doing, what the quarterback sees, what you're disguising, what are you getting to, are you changing coverage structures? All that works hand in hand. Rushing coverage works together, and then obviously acquisition. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to add people to the front, you know, Monty would be the first to tell you, like, they better be disruptive. You know what I mean? They better be disruptive in the run and pass game. You're talking about the pass game. I think they need to be disruptive in the run game too. So It's all of us. It's a collective effort to do all those tools that we talked about getting better. That's one thing we got to get better at.
Yeah.
So we're going to use all the tools that we have, studying, coaching. Let's set it up a little bit differently. Let's make sure Buddha's doing this in the back end to disguise that the quarterback doesn't know. Let's maybe add a few pieces in here where to the room that is going to help that room.
Yeah.
Let's make sure D-Rob's ready to go, all those things. BJ's coming along, so it's all that collectively to do it better because we have to do that better. We have to do that.
Ultimately, it comes down to, and your point is, it's just like negative plays are great, but taking the ball away, as we always hear in your press conferences, talking to your players, they reiterate the ball, value the ball.
The value of the ball is real. If you just look at the course of football, however long, and look at the stats, we hang our hat on it. But if you don't give it away and you take it away, you get a really good chance to win the game. You do. Look at the playoff games, Who won we call that, the double positive. But if you just double positive explosive plays and the ball, if you just took out explosive plays and looked at the ball, the team that won the takeaway banner or turnover banner, however you want to say it, they typically win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, and you can overcome it at times. And trust me, they say, what other stats would you think about, JG? You know what I mean? Like, what else is important to you? Nothing. Everything. Like everything. It's all important. You know what I mean? Like, you take the mindset, nothing matters, or everything matters. Everything matters. Right. You know what I mean? So we got to do it all well. And you don't know which ones are going to show up that after you win or lose, this is why you guys won the game. Well, that's an easy stat to go to, but not necessarily. You know what I mean? But I do know this. If you're winning the takeaway battle week in and week out, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to be playing in January. Yeah. I do know that. Yep. That's not my opinion. That's research of the last 20 years of ball.
Yeah.
So
I hear BJ Ojulari, we were kind of robbed of being able to see him in the second season.
Yeah.
Darius Robinson, we didn't get to see him as well. But there's a lot of guys on that defensive front seven. You feel pretty confident, or there's the numbers crunch. Like, do you think you guys will continue to add to that group?
Yeah, we'll add to every group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always think, like, the way to get your team better is to increase competition in every position. Doesn't matter if you have a clear-cut franchise quarterback, a bell cow running back, a number one receiver, two of the best safeties in the league, and uprising. It doesn't matter to me. Like, we're going to add a safety too, I'm sure. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you want to add as many good pieces as you can to increase competition and then have depth in those spots. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, absolutely. There's room for if you're a good player, there's room for you.
We talk about the secondary, which is your baby, once upon a time.
Once upon a time, not anymore.
No,
I don't believe it. Anytime we ask you about the secondary, it's like 15 minutes later.
Oh, boy. I'll keep it tight.
The maturation process with that group.
Yeah.
Garrett Williams, Taylor Demerson, Buddha now under contract. I mean, how great do you feel about that unit?
Max,
2025,
you know what I mean?
Max.
And some guys, we talk about Star, EJ didn't play. He was hurt, you know what I mean? Keitrell Clark played a lot of snaps for us. He's back, so feel really good. I would say this, Patrick Toney and Ryan Smith have done a fantastic job because you guys alluded to it, and it's a little bit real. When you work for a head coach that is a DB guy by trade, that's a tough position job to have.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job. They've developed those guys. I think they've taken Buddha to another level. We feel really good about the guys that we got coming back. They can cross-train guys better than I could ever cross-train guys. They have a better process how they do it. Our guys understand it, can execute it. It's been really cool to see. I'm super, I'm very glad with where that room is, where it is. And, we were sitting in January talking about the roster with Monti and everybody, and you look at it and you look at kind of who's coming back under contract. It's like, man, like some of these guys can do like multiple things. Like maybe we should think about this. Maybe we should think about this, maybe different situations, we can do different things where it's going to help us, so that's part of the tool that we can use to increase our performance, but they're doing a hell of a job. There's some good ones here too now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Travis Hunter, he had a huge scrum.
There's some good ones.
let's flip to the offensive side of the football. Kyler Murray, during your press availability this week, you said you didn't want to make any power statements, but then you said he's going to have a hell of a year. So good job, Jonathan. It wasn't a power statement.
We're power guys. That's what we do.
I mean, what hit my brain was to make an incredible power statement that I really feel is the case. I'm not going to say that, no need for it, but he's going to have a hell of a year. Go ahead.
What's that look like?
Yeah, I think he is going to play at an elite level consistently, and we go as he goes. You know what I mean? I do think that, and he knows that. But I've seen the growth and the maturation from him, what he puts into it, where he's at mentally with with Drew and and our players. Like, and I hate saying this. Nobody wants to hear it. It's not a good statement. It's not a good answer for a question, but like it takes time. It takes time. And, throughout my career, I've seen where you gotta go through the mud a little bit to come out on the other side. And not that we went through the mud this year, but yeah, of course I want some more production. Of course I want to, see some better stats that don't even matter to me. You know what I mean? Like I know he does too. Right. You know what I mean? Because I know what he thinks about himself. I know what I think about him. I know what our team thinks about him. It's like, man, like I can play a little better. How do I get to play a little better? And he's all in, man. Yeah. So when you got a guy like that that's competitive as he is and smart as he is, I feel really good. But no power statements.
No power statements. Last year at this time we were here and there was a lot of fanfare with Marvin.
Yeah.
And he was the talk of Indianapolis. You guys got him at 4. We're fired up about Marvin, short term and long term. This past year, he comes in immediately as your X receiver. Those expectations that sometimes come with a draft prospect, right? And now come in full circle. Your evaluation on Marv going into year 2.
Unfairly, you know what I mean? But that's the business. Yeah. He knows that. We know that. You know what I mean? What is he, 20 years old? 21 years old? Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever. I thought that he came in, did a really good job. It took throughout the season, just like any rookie, Paris, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what position they're playing, what they're doing, are they on a good team, a bad team, doesn't really matter to me. You're going to have that, you know what I mean? Because every week is a new week. You're playing different people, you're playing different schemes. You got new schemes. So, if I just laughed, I kind of look at his stats and I'm like, what are we talking about?
Good year.
The guy scored 8 times. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of touchdowns. But just like Kyler, just like all of our guys, he's going to have a better year this year. Like, I know it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he needed that experience to go through that. The things that he's working on right now, the reason he's working on those things is because what happened during the year. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's self-aware and consistent enough to be like, okay, like, I like this, and this. I don't like this as much, and I got to work on this. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And that's what he's doing right now. So, I mean, you want to talk about character, process, consistency, self-awareness. Like, I don't know if I've been around a guy that's like check more than him. He's unreal. You know what I mean? That's not to slight any of our guys that we have that are all like that. You know what I mean? But this guy is on a whole different level. So when you give him a little bit of time, okay.
There's just special guys.
Sign up and see me in February.
That's right.
You know?
Right. So it just feels like, I mean, if Kyler goes where you think he can go, Marv can go where we think he can go. It seems just inevitable, like big explosives just find their way back into the offense.
Yes. I mean, we need to be more productive and more I use the word efficient because we were very productive. Yeah. We need to be a little bit more efficient. And I think that there's a learning curve of when we play different teams, and you have these external factors, I would call them, who you're lining up and playing, where you're playing, what part of the year you're playing, what's going on, all those things. I think we need to find a little bit more of a sweet spot to execute a little bit better. That's not just those two guys, it's all of us, it's the coaches, it's the players, it's everybody. And that's a learning process, you know what I mean? But I'm excited. There's no panic in my game about what is going on that side of the ball right now. Like they will do enough for us to win every game. I know that.
You talk about continuity with your players, coaching staff. There was an article that came out. I don't know if you saw it. The Athletic had top 50 under 40 in terms of coaches, executives. Wow. Both of your coordinators were on that list. Yeah. Both of your coordinators were on that list. And your agent.
I have an agent. Yeah.
But your coordinator specifically on that list, the continuity, how vital is it going into year 3 with Drew and Nick?
Huge. Yeah. I mean, like it's a huge thing. Like, just because, for the players, I think they know how they kind of operate, what our standard is, what's the expectation, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, all that stuff. Just the same scheme-ish. Now, we're kind of one of those teams that I like to use the word adaptable, where we're not playing the same things from week to week.
Right.
Like, we have obviously schemes and systems in place that we fall back on that are staples, if you call it. But we're a little more game plan offense and defensively, But those two they're superstars, man. They're superstars. So, no one's going to work harder than those guys to solve the problems that we have identified. No one's going to put more time into it. They can think critically. They take the arrow in the forehead. It's funny. You go through, you start talking in January. All right, what do we got to do better? What did we do good? What do we got to do better? This and that. And both of them lead with, here's what I did, not well enough. I was going to swear. Here's what I did,
We can believe it.
You know what I mean? You can believe it. But that just goes to show you, there was never, this, and this. It was what can I do better? You know what I mean? And when you got a bunch of guys, that's just not those two guys, a bunch of your staff that thinks that way critically with a growth mindset, you better improve. You should improve.
Yeah. It really feels like it's inevitable. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, you got to do it though.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. You got to do it. You know what I mean? You got to put in the work and do it. There's no magic pill. There's no secret sauce. If I could be a character in any movie, it'd be, what was that one? Limitless. Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
would
one.
just pop that pill. You know what I mean? That's not out there. You know what I mean? So you got to do the work. You know what I mean? And that's cool.
You're the first Cardinal coach to have a winning record at home since Bruce Arians. 6-3.
Oh, I haven't had a winning record yet, though. So
Come on. Hey,
come on.
what's it mean, revitalizing?
Yeah, I think it's a big piece. I know fans know this. When you play at home, it's an advantage. It's a distinct advantage than playing on the road. But you got to fill it up, and the fans got to be loud and know when to cheer, when not to cheer, and all those things. But I just think that it was cool for us this year to win more than we lost at home. You know what I mean? Because when you start looking at the schedule, you take it week by week, but however many home games, you'd like to think that you're going to win the majority of those because you're at home. I love the energy in the Valley. I love our fans. You know what I mean? I know they're making some critiques to what we're doing, who's coming in the stadium, but I tell the story all the time. I came here in 2015, which was BA, right? Yeah. And they were rolling. It was Carson Palmer. It was on Thursday Night Football. And I mean, find me, I've been in some loud environments. There's some cool environments, loud environments. That particular day, I think it was, in the second half of the season, I want to say. I mean, as loud as you want it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that always was stuck out in my mind. I was like, man, the Valley gets behind this team when they do well. You know what I mean?
That defense?
Patrick
Peterson, Jones was.
There was some
Dwight Freeney.
Dwight Freeney. That was Dwight Freeney had the strip sack fumble to end it. To end it, yeah. So, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, this is a great place to be, man. It's a great place to be.
We're going to tell you how Johnny and myself are doing our part to help this team.
How are we doing here?
We'll tell you in a minute.
Do more. I just told the whole staff do more. And you guys are just chilling.
I do need to do more. I'm not doing enough. You're right. Absolutely.
We'll tell you in just a minute, but we've been remiss. I got to ask you, the organization got a lot of flack recently as far as the team report cards. Ownership, Michael Bidwell coming under fire a little bit. From your standpoint, Michael Bidwell, Mr. B, does he put you guys, I got to imagine he puts you guys in a position to be successful.
Yeah, I laugh. I mean, obviously, then you see there's the facility is it's going to be different, obviously, pretty soon here. I would just say this, this has been a home run for me. Anything that I ask of Michael, he prefers me to call him Michael. He says if you call him Mr. B, that makes him feel like his dad. Anything I ask for him, he gives me. So as it relates to winning. He's always open. He always listens to me. He's been phenomenal since we've been here together, And he's the first one that would tell you, hey, I want to do this, this, and this to get our operation a little bit better. Cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? He asked to do some things that I'll tell him, I don't really think that impacts winning. I don't think we need to do that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, need to do those things. And he listens. So he's been 100% supportive of Monty and I and our team and our coaches. You guys know, we hired a lot of new guys. We had some guys walk out of the building, this and that. Unbelievable, our process with him. How swiftly it moves and how quick it moves. And that's real. That's a competitive advantage when you're talking about everyone's trying to hire the same guys you're trying to hire. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's been fantastic.
All right, so here we're gonna get down to brass tacks. Here.
Brass tacks.
We're buckling up here.
What do we got?
Ahead of free agency,
hard
ahead of the
questions?
draft. I mean, we've been throwing a lot of hard questions at you, I feel like. But here's what we're gonna do at the end of the day. Bo and I and our producer Damon have made a commitment ahead of free agency to our viewers. We've each given up a vice that if Monti Ossenfort comes out swinging in free agency, big ticket acquisitions.
Or just this offseason.
This offseason, we're giving up an individual vice that we feel like plagues each of us.
So what's your vice?
My vice is, and I took a note from you, when you called me out on Halloween about my candy intake, that was a real look in the mirror moment for me. So I have given up for the better part of 2.5 weeks. I have not had any sugar.
He's been miserable.
It's brutal.
It's no wonder he looks good.
That's great.
You look great.
Things are going well.
Look at that.
Bo has given up caffeine for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, struggle bus.
I could not do that.
No.
Especially this week. And Damon has been in the gym every day.
Good for you.
For the last 2.5 weeks.
Dame. There you go,
Look
Dame.
at Swole Dame.
There you go, Dame. I like it.
So basically, we're looking for some juice in March. And so I know you can't say anything. And we talk about it every day. It's like, let's get some juice
we're just
here.
saying that we're doing our part.
Some juice. You're doing your part.
Yeah.
We're doing ours. We're doing ours.
I know you are.
We're doing ours. I would say this, though. You guys are going to be like, come on, man. It's the truth. Free agency, you do not know what is going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't, because there's an economic piece to that. So I could say we're convinced. We're convinced. Hey, we want to spend this for this player.
Yeah.
And that might not happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we're ready to spend this, but you know what? This is a better scenario for us. So like, it's a little bit, I actually honestly like the draft a little bit better, because I feel like during the draft, you have a chance, all the work that you do on all these guys, you have a chance to acquire them with your picks. Whether they're there or not, you might have a chance to acquire all these guys. Guys walk in the room, they think they're going in the top 10. They're like, I don't know why I'm talking to you, JG. You guys are at 16. I'm going in the top 10. I said, who said we were going to stay there?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Right? Okay, cool. So, but here's the thing about free agency. Like, you don't know who it is, but you don't have a chance to acquire every free agent. You just don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's a different process. But I know this. Just like this is our third year going into it now. We have looked at everybody. We have pinpointed the people that we think can help us, and we're going to be very aggressive to go get those guys.
Is it different at all? I mean, because obviously the assignment I feel like changes year to year, because
it does.
Like, you kind of tear down some things, you rebuild, and now you're in a spot, like in a position to where maybe aggressiveness is it's merited at this point, right? Or
when you say aggressiveness, we've signed some guys now.
Yeah.
I think it goes into this, like when you say aggressive, non-aggressive, war daddies or just some role players, this or that. Every year's different, every guy's different, and what your team needs is different every year.
Yeah.
So, like, we've been very aggressive in free agency with what we've done. You know what I mean? Now, it might not, to the outsider looking in, well, we didn't give anyone $100 million. That would have been a horrific idea for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With who we could have acquired to give $100 million to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like, No, thank you, JG. We want to do this for $100 million. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want that. You know what I mean? So you all got to be on board. But we've been very aggressive to do this. We will always do this with any acquisition period. We will look to improve our team in the best way we can. And that will look a little different from year to year, from free agency to college to the 53, to during the year, to the trade deadline, to all that, right? All the chances you get to acquire people. We will always do what we think is best for the team, both in short term and long term. Like, I don't even have to balance the books like Monty does. Right. You know what I mean? So there's a piece of that too, which everybody has to play by, and the NFL has it set up for a reason, to try everyone be right in here. You know what I mean? So, you know, and if you make some wrong decisions, you can put yourself back. You know, you can put yourself back.
Wow. Dived in a lot. This is fantastic, JG. We do feel like you have earned the right, like us, to splurge this offseason. I think that's just kind of where we're at. So we sign off here from the NFL Combine here in 2025. We're fired up about 2025 with the Arizona Cardinals. Final message for the fan base here?
Final message. Reds, rise up, Red Sea. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. It's gonna be a fun year.
You said you don't do candy. You ever any cheat meals for you?
Every once in a while.
I
mean, I would be like lying if I said I never had sugar. I don't eat a lot of sugar, but you know, every once in a while.
You're not Johnny V.
When you were a scout, did you ever get gross in a drive-through? What was your go-to drive-through?
I will not go through a drive-through.
Okay, got it.
Like, that ain't happening. It's funny, some of these big guys, hey man, what's your cheat meal? You know,
Right.
and they don't want to tell me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll go to Mickey D's and get 3 Big Macs, you know, with this special sauce. I'll go crush a pizza. I'll go to, KFC and get a bucket and eat it all by myself. You know, I'll go to Baskin Robbins, Cold Stone Creamery and get, a pound of ice cream and eat it all by myself. You do that, Coach? Yeah, every once in a while. You know what I mean? Yeah, actually. And then they just let it rip. And then you're like, oh, no, dude, you can't eat 3 extra large pizzas at night at 8:30. It's going to kill you. You know what I mean? So I'm not completely clean, but I do think that what you put in to your body affects your performance and doing your job. So I'm mindful of it.
Yeah.
I like ice cream. Ben & Jerry's.
Go-to.
Ben & Jerry's my go-to.
Gluten-free?
Cake and
They do gluten-free now.
but then, to me, if you're doing it, do it. Full fat, give me everything. You know what I mean? I don't do the gluten-free things, but I do enjoy ice cream a little bit. My daughter turned 8 about a week ago, so a little birthday cake.
Yeah.
I'll eat that stuff, but I'm not candy is.
If you're doing it, do it.
If you're doing it, do it.
I feel like 2025 Arizona Cardinals. If you're doing it, do it.
If you're doing it, do it. Right?
Let's do it.
Why would you have a single when you have a doppio? What, you know what I mean? Have a double espresso, not just one.
There we go.
You know?
Bo can't do that.
You can't do that right now.
Not right now.
That's tough.
Not until the big move
That's
comes, and then I'm right back into
Here's
it.
when you get back. The big move is going to come. Then you're going to get back into it. Here's my challenge for him to keep the challenge going.
Yeah.
No caffeine after 10 a.m.
I can do that. It's easy.
You
I'm
can do
already
that,
noon. I'll cut it off.
Okay, for you is once a week.
Oh, that doesn't seem like an equal trade-off at all.
Once a week.
Once a week?
Once a week. So you pick out all right, you know what? I'm going to watch this show on Tuesday night. I want to eat a box of Nerds. Then that's it for the week. You know what I mean?
Man.
But if you can delay gratification and wait till Friday and you actually go out to a movie, then you can have popcorn and maybe a box
Maybe
of
a
candy.
slush, maybe a slushie.
So blue icy.
Oh, yeah.
Off the
Yes,
chain.
that's right. That's right.
Monty and I were just talking about what we do at movie theater. Movie theater popcorn's kind of a cheap meal, what we do, how to get it buttered up.
Yeah.
You got to have a process.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have a process to do it right.
Now I feel like I'm
If
committed.
you're going to do it right.
Yeah, right?
You know?
I think we did it right today.
My wife would get Sour Patch.
Yeah,
Sweet
Sour-
Kids.
Oh,
sweet,
yeah.
sweet
Yeah,
Sour
and then they got the
Patch.
watermelon, too.
Watermelon.
Those are good. Yeah,
That's
those
what
are
she
good.
JJ Watt would eat in the locker room.
Yeah.
Back when he was
Spike his
Cardinal.
insulin right before he played. It's not a bad idea. No, it's not a bad idea. Quick carbs, quick energy. But then you in the movie theater be
Then I
like,
crash.
how was the movie? I don't know. I only saw half of it.
Unbelievable stuff from the Cardinals head coach, our guy Jonathan Gannon, joining us out here again at the NFL Combine. Let's do it again next year.
Next year? Yeah, I guess it's our annual, right?
Yeah, we love it.
Sweet.
It's our time.
Have me back. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks,
that was
Coach.
awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, there it is. The JG interview 2025 NFL Combine. We debrief coming up. JG staying winning. Mando staying winning, keeping you smelling fresh and clean. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. Their scents are geared towards men with options like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji Pro Sport, and more. I was lathered up with Mando at the NFL Combine. Let's just say I got a slew of compliments. Bo, don't shake your head. I absolutely did. The #1 whole body deodorant formula right now. You can find it with our friends at shopmando.com. It's a call to action. Plus, they've got the starter pack, perfect for new customers. It comes with the solid stick deodorant, the cream tube deodorant, 2 free products that you're choosing, like the mini body wash, the deodorant wipes. Plus, you get it all in a bundle for free shipping. New special offers for listeners right now. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code, of course, PHNX. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code PHNX at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Tell them PHNX Cardinals sent you and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Hey, Mando. I think Bo, yeah, we're fired up.
Of your musk out there. Let's keep it going with our friends over at All Pro Shade Concepts. Unreal what's going on. Extend your outdoor living space with custom fit awning, hundreds of designs, colors to choose from, match any home. You can work with those HOAs, always pesky. You gotta walk a fine line with the HOAs, but All Pro Shade Concepts is going to do that heavy lifting for you. Most trusted local shade company, voted #1 ranking in Arizona for patio shades in 2024. BBB A+ ratings, over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. Is that good? Seems pretty good to me. Over 1,000. Yeah. High score. Is that good? So call 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476 to visit allproshadeconcepts.com to now schedule your free estimate.
Everybody drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Fired up. Debrief. The JG interview. Yeah, Snack saying amazing dap-ups. Listen, who you see on screen, that's Jonathan Gannon. It's the same person on and off air. We got to hang with JG a good amount of time. I mean, like, you know, I tried to sign off the interview a couple times at the end because I'm like, This guy, he had people waiting for him. He had other stuff going on. He had to fly back to Phoenix the next day. He would have talked forever because that's the kind of person he is. So yeah, I think it can come off like, hey, you know, we're a very pro team podcast, and we are. But I put this out a couple of weeks ago, and I stand by it even before the interview. That person right there, that's the most valuable. That's the best thing going for the Arizona Cardinals right now. That human being right there.
Yeah, he's going to put them to be in a position to win a lot of football games in the near future and in the future of this organization. And that's it can't be said for a whole lot of people that have held the same job as he currently holds. So, I mean, Bruce Arians most successful as far as wins and losses for this team, getting consistently in the postseason and very relevant. And Jonathan Gannon possessed the same ability and then some to put them, you know, right there where this they've longed to be since moving to the Valley of the Sun back in the late 80s. But no, I absolutely echo those comments that you just made. And it's going to be exciting to see, like, once this roster really gets put in a really rock solid spot, and they're close. You know, where can they go from here? Can they go from 8 wins to, you know, not just like, hey, 10 wins, knocking on the door again, you know, sneaking into the playoffs? Can they get to 11, 12, 13 wins? That's where they want to be. They want to be rocking and rolling.
You want a head coach that commands respect, not only from his players, that's super important, but just from everybody within the NFL landscape. And you can just see that. And Brian echoes it right here. He loves football, right? He loves the players, right? He loves building toward hopefully the culmination of a postseason berth this year, a Super Bowl, as he mentioned in the interview. Yeah, make the playoffs before you win a championship. The immense amount of respect and support he has from Michael Bidwell, right? The faith that he has in Kyler Murray. I mean, how about that candid bio? He's just like, Kyler and Marv, they're going to be way better this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's about as cut and dry as you can get. A lot of people are like, are they pivoting off of K1, or can Marvin live up for the hype? And it's just like, there it is, straight from the head coach. They're going to be way better this year, Bo, in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, and they're going to improve at some positions. It's like, yeah, the organization in the past, they didn't put as much work into getting to know these players in the pre-draft process as this team does, and I think they've done an unbelievable job in vetting that. Trying to figure out, like, do they love football? Because this is such a commitment. It's more than just cashing in because you had a good collegiate career and you could make a couple plays here and there on Sunday. It's being really rock solid committed to your process and getting better each and every day. And they've been able to kind of weed those guys out. So, like, when you see things like, James Pierce Jr., just for example, and there's some character concerns about him and, how things have been easier in Tennessee since he left. It's just kind of like, then you look at it, he's like, is he a Cardinal? I mean, I know he's got the skill set. I know he's got a 4.47 40, and that's like, it's unbelievable. That's eye popping, but is he going to fit? Are you going to be able to is it going to be a square peg in a square hole, or is it going to be a round peg in a square hole? Is it not going to be a fit? Because he's looking for people who are going to fit, like, top to bottom, everything they want. It's not like, hey, we're going to make some concessions here. We're going to find guys who are Cardinals. We're going to find guys who are cut from the same fabric.
And, like, he knows they have to get better this offseason, not just in the draft, right? And, he echoed what I think most good coaches and GMs echo is, like, yeah, the draft is how you win. The draft is where you build, but you can supplement in free agency. Like, Bo, when you and him were going back and forth as it relates to, like, aggressiveness in free agency, not every year is going to look the same, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Jonathan Gannon knows they have to add pieces. Monti Ossenfort knows they have to add pieces. Do the pieces align with their core values? Do they align with scheme fit, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing we're going to be talking about leading up to April's draft. We're going to continue to break down this interview, plus your super chats, plus some Cam Skattebo, all that and more. Throw your super chats and your likes in. It's PHNX Cardinals. But first, I got to tell everybody, had a tremendous experience with one of my premier airport pickups via our friends at Waymo. We got picked up by the Phoenix airport. It was chef's kiss, first class from Waymo. We got out there. Bo and Damon can attest to this. Everybody was waiting for their vehicle. Here comes Waymo, driverless, right? We just pop in, get to our destination, easy peasy.
Somebody even wanted our Waymo.
This nice lady tried to take it. I said, you know what, ma'am, this is mine. This Jaguar I-Pace, this vehicle, providing a consistent zero emission experience for Bo, Damon, and I. This is ours. Respectfully, please step aside. They've got 150,000 trips per week across San Fran, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. Waymo, the first company to serve as a fully autonomous ride with no human being behind the wheel since 2015. They've got over 40 million miles of real-world driving experience. That's enough to drive to the moon and back 80 times. Download the Waymo app today. I tell you right now, like, we talk about it, we joke tongue in cheek, like, there are tons of these all over the place. This is the future of transportation. Again, download the app today and upgrade your pickup service.
Just saw the Phoenix Suns dropped another game the other day. And rooting on, Phoenix sports teams, Arizona sports teams, it can be stressful. But selling your home, you don't have to have that same amount of stress on your life, especially with the Carol Royce team. Carol Royce's team, the Valley's fan favorite real estate team. Call Carol Royce today, 480-776-5231. Carol Royce sells homes faster for more money than the average agent. Check it out. With over 12,000 homes sold across the Valley, Carol doesn't just make promises. She makes guarantees. Considering a cash offer? Why just settle for one cash offer when you can get up to 6 of the best offers with at least one of 100% market value? Carol will pay the difference if you don't hit that 100% market value. When it's time to sell your home, make the smart play. It's Carol Royce. Call Carol Royce at 480-776-5231 or visit her online, carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com, and terms and conditions, of course, apply.
Everybody drop a like on this video. If you're watching with one of our phenomenal streaming partners, jump on over. Perfect time. Go PHNX.com, become a diehard. We got 1,200 people watching live right now. Everybody hit that like button, by the way. Smash it here on a football Monday with JG. Excuse me. Bo, anything else stand out in the interview to you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot stood out in that interview. I think, the conversation about Michael Bidwill ownership, basically Gannon saying that this has been a home run for him, making the decision to come and take this opportunity.
Yeah.
Anything that he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but essentially what he was saying is anything he's asked for, Michael Bidwill has obliged. And, I think that's taking, suggestions how to improve the football team, and it seems that he's a very receptive owner, and I think the entire organization understands that with these failing grades, it's not going to get worse, but it's not going to get better anytime soon. Like, it's a process as far as getting the training facility up to snuff, but it seems like it's something that especially following the grades being released on last Wednesday, that they were already in the process of remedying. So it's going to take a little bit more than just some paint and maybe a couple new chairs in front of guys' lockers to get that locker room to where it needs to be, NFL caliber. But it's good to know that hopefully they get it to where it needs to be, and then keep the eye forward of where it needs to go in order to avoid these disastrous NFLPA report card grades.
I know nothing's like assured until they break ground or you see publicly renderings like this. The upgrades to the facilities are happening, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and say like timeline in 2027, but like that, we feel pretty good about the reassurance that, we've been given. Like this is going to be state of the art, and the Cardinals understand what's at hand. And, whenever you talk with somebody the caliber of JG and the timeliness of the grades, we broached it with him before the interview. Like, do you want to touch on the facility we want? I know people are excited. And he's like, I want to talk about Michael Bidwill, and I'm excited about what we've got in store. So I know there are a lot of people who are like, I don't know, they'll probably want to ask about X, Y, and Z. Your head coach wants you involved with those conversations. Like that was unprompted because your head coach wants that out there. So I think you should be encouraged by that as an Arizona Cardinal fan, that the president, the owner, the GM, the head coach are in complete lockstep on how to rebuild. We talked about it earlier. Rebuild the roster, check, or in the midst of checking, rebuild the facility, the accommodations for the players, so that they're consistently in the mix for hopefully some of the best accommodations. And this becomes a destination franchise, not only within JG on the field, but off the field with what they're doing with the facility. So that to me, I mean, super encouraging to hear that.
Yeah, well, and if you're going to want more from your players, they spend so much time at that facility, make it something that they want to go to Tempe and set up shop for their, the bulk of their day, instead of having to like just get some work done and then get out of there, watch some film and get out of there. So it's so important this day and age to be competitive as far as what you have as far as your home setting. And it was overlooked for far too long. That's something that we can't sit here and talk positively about. The fact that we're sitting here in the year 2025 of our football lords, and that's what they have is the home of the Arizona's professional football team. That's unacceptable. But I think they're making going to try to make up some ground here in the next couple of years. So, but it's gonna, like, when these things get released next year, don't expect Washington Commanders like jump. There's only a couple things you can tweak in order to get up the board.
I think what the Cardinals can do to benefit themselves is to keep, and nobody's owed anything, but just to keep the public in the know, right?
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Gannon coming on this show, keeping people in the know, more opportunities for he and Ossenfort and Michael Bidwill to put it out there, because, hopefully the players knew about the accommodations and the renovations, but put it out there 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, have checkpoints and make it accessible so people can say, what, these grades are what they are, but we're working toward an end goal here. Oh, we're breaking ground this month, right? I'm excited to be able to see the progress here. I'm excited for our players. I think, again, as disheartening as those grades were, Bo, I think you can take a lot of solace in knowing that the head coach, the GM and the president and the owner are lockstep together on how to fix it and remedy it.
That's exciting. I mean, because I think the initial shock when people saw that not only did they not improve or the status quo on these report cards and that they've fallen to last in the league was like, oh, here we go again. Same old crap, same old, poor ownership, not listening to either the fan base or the players or whatever. I get that that's why that's the knee-jerk reaction. But like once you start to peel things back, once you see the Cardinals' reaction, it's not going to fix the grades. I mean, those are something that they're going to have to live with. And I think that that's a big point of the exercise of the NFLPA in doing this, because they serve their players. They want the best for their players. So they're listening to their players and what their comments and feedback are. But, like when you look at where the Cardinals have improved under Gannon, like they got the nutrition up, nobody's paying for meals. It's just like the setting of the cafeteria. It's just a little bit too much like your local high school. And then, but you look at how this team travels. How do they get to and from games? Like they got a B. They were, I think, in the top part of that. So that's good. That's important. That's going to get your guys, to, the away games feeling fresh and ready to go. But then you get like something pushback where one of their worst grades was, how they treat player families. But the biggest sticking point was they couldn't get sideline passes for their players. It's like you got to figure out like what that looks like next season. Are you going to provide that in order to get a better grade, or then you got to figure out what you value most and what's going to help this team and its players, move forward, kind of working together.
These grades are what they are. They're going to come out every year, and I think they're a tremendous communication piece for players to be able to speak their mind. And the Cardinals are prepared for that now, especially under Gannon and Ossenfort, hand in hand with Michael Bidwell. Like this video. Your super chats coming up on PHNX Cardinals. It is going to hit like never before when my sugar vice is pulled and I can go to my nearest Circle K, which is right around the block from where I live, and smash a blue raspberry icy. Could I be doing it a week from today? We shall see. But in the meantime, if you're one of the few that are fortunate to be able, one of the many, I should say, to go to Circle K and load up on deals, do it now via the America's Thirst Stop. Join the Inner Circle for free. So easy to download. Enter your phone number, your email address. Bada bing, bada boom. You are fully enrolled. All you got to do, input your phone number, then to get the deals. Like save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. They save 3 cents per gallon every single day. They've got a ton of member-exclusive discounts and deals on deals. Again, go into the app, look up the discounts, and see how much you're going to be saving. It's hard to save money these days. Now with Circle K, join the Inner Circle for free. Thirst has met its match. Download the app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details, Bo.
One of the things you could absolutely dabble in is our friends over at Pure Edibles, because they're not like, those typical gummies that are just covered in sugar like all their competitors. You got to check out Pure Edibles, which is founded in Arizona up in Flagstaff and available in 130 dispensaries across our great state. Pure is a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks, which are just like Starbursts, also soft candies like caramel, and hard candies. Pure effects are clearly listed on each 10, so you know exactly what effects to expect. Pure offers gummies for sleep support, as well as candies for uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana derived from THC. Pure was created in Flagstaff, as I said, Noble Herb Dispensary, but they went big time, got down the I-17, and they're now in our great Phoenix area. But, they remain humble, just like this podcast. Pure Gummies designed to be ripped, bit in half, and making them shareable, easily to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure edible products from one of the 130 dispensaries around Arizona.
Everybody drop a like on this video. We got 1,200 people watching live. Again, go to YouTube, hit the like. It helps infinitely. So we're able to get the JGs of the world on. Yeah, look at that smoldering Bo Brack helping us get our likes up today on a almost free agency football Monday. Look at that, man. That man knew he was going to go on a date with Marvin Harrison Jr. the night of the NFL draft. Not literally, but figuratively. He had a date for the Cardinals to take MHJ.
That's right. I was holding the line the entire time, right? Led by our Damon Dawg. And I just knew something special was we're on the precipice of something special. That's why I got my best tuxedo jacket.
I know it was a long time ago at this point, but it just popped in my head that like we hadn't talked to JG since before Marvin Harrison Jr. was a member of this team. Really feels like kind of a missed opportunity, not just being like, hey, by the way, JG, this guy over here with the camera, he's the reason that Marvin Harrison Jr. is here.
You actually didn't get him. Our producer Damon got him. So I think it's important that you guys connect.
Yeah, I think that was a big miss looking back on it. But, hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of mistakes were made, I guess. No mistaking these super chats. Kicking us off, Doc XD 199. What up? Manifesting big free agency moves. We tried to manifest it with the head coach himself, Doc XD. And listen, between Ossenfort and Gannon, like they know the collective. They want to see this. Open up the checkbook. Let's dish out some free agent dollars, Bo.
Let's see it. Now, I did like Gannon when he was like, when we do make a big move, Johnny, maybe you should consider just going to the sweet treats once a week.
I didn't like that.
You didn't like that.
Didn't
but
like it.
I just like the idea of a near future where this whatever the restrictions we've put in place will become lifted, and you don't go back to stuffing your face with candy.
Yeah, I love stuff in my face. I did. Did you catch that part where he's like, when the big move does come, here's what you guys need to do. And I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, coach, big moves. Listen, they have $75 million in cap space. They're going to sign guys to multi-year contracts. We feel like what's like 8 figures, over $10 million. Like it's going to constitute. They're doing big moves. Like the narrative, I don't know who started it. Maybe it's our next super chat can attest to this. The narratives out there that they were never going to spin is ridiculous. I don't know where that came from. They have made incremental improvements every free agency where first year tearing it down, last year filling out the roster. We felt like there were some missed opportunities. This year it's like, hey, we need to get some more high-end talent to, make the playoffs. Well, let's just take some of this $75 million in cap space, fourth most in the NFL. No, you know what? We're going to lay low. Mr. B says we can't spend money. Like that's the dumbest narrative. People who subscribe to that, I'm sorry, you don't know how the salary cap works. You do not know that Steve Keim once upon a time used to have overdraft fees on the salary cap. There was infinite dead money for the Arizona Cardinals. Rant over.
Yeah. Trenton Smith, $4.99. Thank you, Trenton Smith. Somebody says guards are wanting to re-sign Roy Lopez, Baron Browning, and some of the 3 other no-name D-line guys we have. Thoughts?
What's your thoughts on that, Bo?
I mean, it's kind of simple connecting the dots. Sure. Like they like the guys that they've acquired over the last couple of years. I mean, I think Baron Browning is absolutely somebody that you invested a draft pick. You traded a draft pick to bring in. You don't want to just burn draft picks, and they obviously see something in him. I think everybody likes Roy Lopez. Damon Dawg is the president of the Rolo fan club, and for rightful reason. I mean, he's a guy that's got a good motor. He's a guy that you can rely upon to play the amount of snaps they want from their defensive linemen. But, that all might be said, the Cardinals are going to need to upgrade those positions, both of them. Like those guys can be depth guys. Like it's not breaking news. It's not inside information to say that the team likes their players and would like to bring them back. Monti Ossenfort said that last week.
The president of the Rolo fan club, we'd like to issue a statement. Obviously we would like to have Roy Lopez back on this squad and he's an awesome player. I think he does his job right. But as you mentioned, Bo, there's limited spots at D tackle, and the Cardinals need to find an upgrade at D tackle. So yes, in an ideal world, would I rather have Roy Lopez back on a 2-year, $6 million contract to be a nose tackle and play on the first 2 downs and, stop the run over having Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols make $10+ million a year? Absolutely. But unfortunately, the Cardinals are in that spot, and you can't, just cut those guys and eat the dead money on it.
You could.
You could, but I think in an ideal world, yes, you bring Rolo back on a moderate contract, but I just don't know that it's in the cards based off of how much they need to add to that room, right?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to come on the show every day and say, let's just run it back. We're running it back for 2025. We're going to get all the same players that helped our defense get minimal pass rush, and we're expect different results.
You're
How
right.
about that? You think the Cardinals think that way? No. Roy Lopez, backup. Baron Browning, not a starter, right? Even though everybody at the trade deadline came onto the show, Bo and I were critical, and people were like, wait till you see Baron Browning. see him do what? 2 sacks? He's a backup. Cardinals, free agents that are coming out, they're all backups outside of Kazir White, and they're all guys that are not going to sign in the first wave of free agency. You know who are going to sign? Let's see it, Damon, Dawg. Let's see the big ticket vice guys that are going to sign a week from today that the Cardinals need. Oh, I don't know. Some of the best players in the flipping NFL. This is why you save $75 million in cap space not to re-sign Roy Lopez day one of free agency. Sorry about that.
I mean, Ossenfort said last week, we're going to prioritize bringing guys back. And I think that he does. That's how he operates. He wants to make sure he's not out there trying to, completely fill out a roster in free agency in the draft. Like, there's these guys that they trust, and those are players that they trust. Like Roy Lopez, testament to him, like they trust him. But is he somebody that is going to be able, you can rush for, and he's going to win enough to where it's really gonna make a big difference in the play, like consistently enough? And I think he's shown like who he is, and he's a valuable player to have on your team. But you need impact makers, true impact makers.
Reezy baby, $2. Just a nice $2 super chat saying, great interview, guys, keeping us in the off season. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. By the way, big shout out to Damon, Dawg, who's on camera for that video, and then our head of production, Shane Diefenbach, who filmed it and then did all the post-production work. That interview was taped last week, so it's very hard for your boy to be able to sit on that because we tweaked around with the idea of doing something sooner or whatever, but we wanted to make sure that normal showtime, back in the swing of things, got as many eyeballs as we could on that, and so would not happen without Shane and Damon.
Yeah, we are going to have to, I agree with Brian. We're going to have to update the graphic, remove Osa and Trey Smith, both Odigizua.
I will remember you. And
the Osa deal got announced. I knew the trade. I mean, Trey Smith technically could still be signed, right? Yeah. He's got the non-exclusive tender or whatever, but it would require the team that's signing him to give up 2 first-round picks, so not an option.
T. Higgins is going to be tagged too. Do we add players to it? Do we go back and
just move up the board?
Do we do this? Do we get a little gross? I asked JG if he ever gets gross in a drive-through, and his overwhelming answer was never. Not like you guys going to Taco Bell 1 in the morning in Indianapolis. You think we would have seen Ganon in Taco Bell?
That never happened.
You even asked me that.
I had the Cantina menu, which is that's
healthy. Yeah.
That is.
Did you have the Baja Blast, Coach?
It was basically just chicken and rice. That's all it was. It was a very like friendly, very friendly meal I had.
Hunter's asking, will you guys be doing JG's challenge? No caffeine after 10 and once a week sweets for Johnny. That might need to be revived. Bo's challenge, respectfully, is way easier. That's
I already kind of abide by that. I don't do caffeine that much later than 10.
How about every other day for you, Johnny? How's that sound?
He's gonna be back in this thing. He's gonna be just like.
No, I know, but this getting back in the saddle for Johnny is
have
sweets
like a
every
beer
night.
Helmet, and he's just gonna have Skittles, and he's just gonna suck them in through a straw.
Soda in one.
You think I'm like some child, some infant baby that just eats candy for dinner? I don't. It's just like,
isn't it crazy that he he said. When you would bring up Marvin Harrison Jr., you were in the thick of the hold the line battle. He's like, oh, we can't just have Skittles and Dr. Pepper for dinner.
As that's
but
what
he's
eats,
probably
literally
getting off air, and he's putting all that all that stuff in his body.
Here's where, and I agree with you, Johnny, the scope of those two things is a lot different, but here's where I think it's from JG's perspective. So it's not, right?
Yeah.
That guy he doesn't have cheat days every week.
No.
So he's telling you like, hey, have a cheat day once a week. And in his world, that's like a that's a great thing.
Yeah.
For Bo, it's like, I'm sure he's drinking caffeine all the time because that's the nature of his job is very difficult.
Late, long hours.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm sure that like, that's an added thing to him where it's like, oh, that's difficult. For me, if you guys had asked me what my workout plan should be, he probably would have said, stick with 7 days a week, buddy. That's what people that want to get.
What are you, soft?
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the gym.
I appreciate this, guys. I didn't think about it like this, but Gannon probably appreciates my part of this challenge the most.
Gross. Get to the next super chat. Gross.
The rest of the stuff
Gross.
he just does. He just does.
I don't disagree. Gross, though. I don't like that. I don't like
You're also, I mean, the guy is built like a Greek god, Bo.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's not exactly a fair comparison. I'm also, I'm not on the Rocks workout plan either. You want to come at me for that?
No, but I just think I like that you guys recognize that I'm making the biggest sacrifice here.
I got to tell a story about Damon at the combine real quick.
Okay.
For people who don't understand the lengths in which Damon had to go at Indianapolis to get a workout in, we went to a hotel bar where our friend Mina Kimes was there. A lot of NFL notables were there, right? It was packed.
Yeah.
There's Shane and Bo and I, and we're slumming it, having some drinks. And Damon's like, I have to go get a workout in. Damon sneaks into the hotel workout facility to work out. It's 10 p.m. at night to get a sweat in. He somehow weaseled his way into a 5-star hotel's workout facility.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I'm ready to go and we're bebopping around. And then here comes Damon just walked down and I'm like, I forgot you were even here. He's like, yeah, I was getting my workout in.
Yeah. He's got sweaty pits and everything.
He just had like a big gray shirt on. He's like,
hey guys. Yeah.
Like, what's the plan? Hey guys, what's the plan?
It was a poll day. And we're like, did you want a beer from the bar? And he's like, yeah. And he just completely probably crashed.
Had to get back to it.
Yeah. Crashed his entire routine. He just
I'm
did.
so proud. I was so proud of you when I saw you do that.
Yeah. I'm up there in the JW Marriott. I'll say the hotel, Johnny. I'm up there in the Marriott.
Yeah. Put it out there. You snuck into their weight room.
I'm sneaking in and I'm sitting up there in cargo pants and Jordan 1 highs and just not workout clothes at all. And I'm just lifting and all the other people in the gym are looking at me like, this guy's not staying at this hotel.
It's probably
There's
like
no way
NFL
this guy's
agents,
staying here.
executives for teams, scouts, and then here's our producer, just paying his dues. I appreciate that. I appreciate it
because we haven't done this in a while. February 10th was when we started this challenge where I gave up caffeine, you gave up sweets, and Damon started working out every day. Is anybody slipped up?
No. I know you're trying to insinuate that I slipped up at the combine. I did not.
Johnny tried to eat a graham cracker essentially on the plane and tried to tell us that
I had to wrestle it out of his hands.
that there's no sugar in it. It was insane.
To be fair, when we agreed to this,
it's a biscuit. It's
to
not
be fair. When we agreed to this, it was like I was going to abstain from like desserts, right? And this is probably my doing. It got exacerbated to like all sugar, which is really difficult because everything's got flipping sugar in this country. But initially it was like, you can't have like ice cream cakes, pies, sugary drinks. Like, so no, I have not slipped up.
I mean, outside of the mocha incident.
That wasn't a slip up. That was a clerical error.
What?
Breezy Baby, $5 super chat. Bo, does new facilities mean locker room, training room, weight room, etc.? Or is it just a partial project? Like, are they just gonna paint some walls?
I mean, from the information that we've received, as far as the new facilities or what they're gonna do to the existing Tempe location, it would be a pretty heavy renovation. They're gonna sink over $100 million into it. So, I absolutely believe that they're going to focus on the locker room and they're going to focus on the cafeteria and they're going to focus on the weight room. And that's where they want to try to help themselves out with what the players have asked them to do by giving them failing grades. That's going to be probably the areas of focus for when they get this project done between now and 2027.
I mean, and like you could theoretically do it fast, but the players still have to be able to go and exercise and work out, and you have to accommodate them. So Hunter's saying, what about a lot of Mocha Gates? The second worst thing happened at the Starbucks at the Combine.
Maybe that was what it was, because it was the same Starbucks that the alleged verbal altercation went down between Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport. Maybe they overheard me yelling at Johnny that a mocha is just espresso and chocolate syrup.
We set the tone. You set the tone. Where people, you're like, oh, people can, Jordan's like, people can be aggressive here. I just saw that guy yelling at that other guy.
That being said, like the picture came out, it looked like he had like a smile on his face.
Smile on his face.
I mean, I'm sure it was like a condescending conversation, but it didn't look like anything that warranted going to NFL media officials and complaining.
I am Ian Rappaport's size. Jordan Schultz is probably Shane Diefenbach size. Mm-hmm. Like it's just not a smart move.
Good body comps.
Yeah, that's not a smart move. I might be taller than Rap Sheet. I'm just putting that out in the ether. But man, what a week we've had. What a week we're going.
You have more aura than Rap Sheet, that's for sure, John.
I have. Hey, you know I'm more humble. Yeah, the most humble.
Infinite aura and the most humble. So we say it for you because you're too humble.
Too humble to say it. If you want to see our JG interview in its entirety, once again, we are going to clip it out, put it on the video at gophnx.com. And of course, here on YouTube, big thanks to Jonathan Gannon. And man, oh man, we can't say who it is, but we're teasing it. We are our hopes to add an insider, an NFL insider of note, beginning later this week through the draft. It's the notable of notable. To be able to give us sight sounds and otherwise ahead of free agency in the draft, Bo.
Absolutely. We just also talked to our guy, Cam Cox. He logged an interview with Johnny and myself. Look for that from 12 News. And yeah, as I'm going to reiterate what you were saying earlier, big shout out to Shane and Damon for their behind the scenes work, all the heavy lifting on not only the Cam Skattebo interview, but also that Jonathan Gannon interview that we aired during this show.
Cameron.
That's right.
I didn't know you guys were tight like that.
Cameron Skattebo the third.
It's because it's on his nameplate and stuff. I don't know.
It's like Scott's mom, Bo, and like his teachers from elementary school.
Cameron Skattebo, you get in here right now.
Finish that homework, young man.
Did you not run the 40 at the Combine?
Did you miss that pickup block on blitz protection, Cameron? If you don't think, by the way, that Cameron Skattebo is going at minimum round 3, you are nuts. He is going day 2 of the NFL draft. Will he be an Arizona Cardinal? As Digital Death says, scat stock rising. Some are saying it's associated to our on-set interview. I'm not saying it, but some are saying it. Some are also saying, like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. The biggest thanks to the head ball coach himself, Jonathan Gannon. We're back on a Football Tuesday, just days away. What will free agency bring? For Damon, Bo, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you mañana. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.